Okay, so now we are going to see something called as bilinear transformation. It is yet another technique to convert your given analog transfer function into a digital transfer function. Okay, so here we start the relationship. The relationship between s and z is given by 2 by t into 1 minus z inverse by 1 plus z inverse. Okay, now we'll see what happens. We want to correlate this, and we have to find the value of sigma and j omega. Okay, so s I can give it as sigma plus j omega. Okay, so we'll equate it to, I'm preferably I will have it in the form of z minus 1 by z plus 1 in terms of z, so that it will be convenient for me to work on it. Okay, so I'll expand z. I can put it as r e power j omega minus 1 divided by r e power j omega plus 1. Okay, so I'll expand the Euler's formula 2 by t, so it become r cos omega plus j r sin omega minus 1 divided by r cos omega plus j r sin omega plus 1. Okay, I'll group the real and imaginary parts, so it will become r cos omega minus 1 plus j r sin omega, the whole divided by r cos omega plus 1 plus j r sin omega. Okay, now if we want to separate the real and imaginary parts, similar to this, we have to multiply the conjugate of the denominator with the numerator and denominator. Okay, we know that normally the same thing we are going to apply here. 2 by t, already we have r cos omega minus 1 plus j r sin omega divided by, we have r cos omega plus 1 plus j r sin omega. Okay, so we're multiplying this with the conjugate of this one, so it is r cos omega plus 1 minus j r sin omega divided by r cos omega plus 1 minus j r sin omega. Got it? So now the next step, so what happens to the denominator? Denominator, it is a plus jb into a minus jb, so this will become r cos omega plus 1 whole square plus r sin omega whole square. Okay, so the numerator, if you multiply, okay, you'll be actually getting it as, so this into this. Okay, fine, so you'll actually get r square cos square omega minus 1. Okay, so this is a plus b into a minus b. Okay, that's the term you'll be getting, plus r square sin square omega plus j into 2r sin omega. Okay, that's what you'll be getting when you expand it. Okay, now we'll be further coupling terms as well as expanding terms. So here we can couple these two terms together. If we couple these two terms, r square cos square plus sin square, we know that cos square plus sin square theta is equal to 1, so we can write this as r square minus 1 plus j 2r sin omega. I have coupled these two terms together. Similarly, if I expand on the denominator, it will become 1 plus r square cos square omega plus 2r cos omega plus r square sin square omega. Again, here also I can couple these two terms together, because in this common it is r square, it is cos square plus sin square. If we couple these two terms together, it will get 2 by t into r square minus 1 plus j 2r sin omega divided by, okay, so we'll get 1 plus r square plus 2r cos omega. Now we can easily separate into real and imaginary parts. So sigma plus j omega is equal to 2 by t into r square minus 1, okay, r square minus 1 by 1 plus r square plus 2r cos omega plus j into 2r sin omega divided by 1 plus r square plus 2r cos omega. Okay, now we can correlate these two and we can find out sigma is equal to 2 by t r square minus 1 divided by 1 plus r square plus 2r cos omega. Similarly, we can find out omega is equal to 2 by t 2r sin omega divided by 1 plus r square plus 2r cos omega. Okay, so we have got omega and omega. Fine. Now we'll test out whether, because for this relation to work out we have to check for the different conditions, then only we can approve it, whether this thing is valid. Okay, so what actually this r is actually pertaining to the z domain, and the sigma and omega are pertaining to the s domain. Okay, so if you put in this relationship, if you put r equal to 1, what will happen? If we put r equal to 1, sigma will become 0. What it means? R equal to 1 is nothing but unit circle, and sigma equal to 0 means it is your j omega axis. So unit circle in your z plane maps onto j omega axis in your s plane. So that's the first condition is satisfied. Okay, second condition, when r is less than 1, when r is less than 1, what will happen? Your sigma will obviously be less than 0. Okay, because this is r square minus 1. When r is less than 1, your sigma is going to be so even you can it is going to be less than 0. What it means? So any pole inside unit circle is mapped onto left half of s plane. When sigma is less than 0, it means left half of s plane. Okay, third condition, when r is greater than 1, obviously sigma is greater than 0. So outside of the unit circle is mapped onto right half of s plane. Okay, so all the three conditions are met, hence this transformation is correct. Okay, we'll go one step further. Okay, and we have to find out certain relationships. If you see the relationship between omega, particularly we'll take this part, when r equal to 1, when r equal to 1, this is 0. We'll take this one, omega becomes 2 by t into 2 by t into, it is 2 sine omega by 1 plus 1. So here 1 plus 1, it is 2. 2 we can take it out common, so it becomes 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2r cos omega, right? So we can further write this as 2 plus t. We can take it out 2 common out. It becomes sine omega by 1 plus r cos omega. Sorry, r is 1 already. I have accidentally put it. So I have to undo. Okay. Now this r is 1. I have accidentally put here. R is 1. Okay. Now 2 by t. How can I write this sine omega? We can write it as 2 sine omega by 2 cos omega by 2. Fine. Similarly, 1 plus cos theta can be written as 2 cos square theta by 2. 2 cos square omega by 2. Okay. Now I can cancel this cos omega, this. Okay. So what we have left it out? I'll be left out with 2 by t sine omega by 2 by cos omega 2. I'm left out with sine omega by 2 by cos omega by 2, which is nothing but omega is equal to 2 by t tan omega by 2. Okay, omega is equal to 2 by t tan omega by 2. Okay, now I'll take this relationship omega is equal to 2 by t tan omega by 2. Okay, for low frequencies, okay, that is small values of omega, we know that tan theta is equal to theta, or tan omega by 2 is equal to omega by 2. So omega is equal to 2 by t into omega by 2, or it is become omega by t, or I can write omega is equal to omega t. Okay, what it means, for low frequencies it is having a linear relationship. Okay, for low frequencies it is having a linear relationship, but for high frequencies this tan actually comes into picture. Because of that, there is high amount of non-linearity. We'll see this if you actually plot the amplitude response. Okay, I'm just plotting it. Okay, I'll just give a, so linear means it has to be perfectly like this, but here we have some kind of non-linearity. Initially at low frequencies it is linear, then actually it goes into a non-linearity. Okay, so because of this, okay, if you actually draw the different pulse bands in your amplitude response, okay, I'll just put like this. These are the different pulses in your amplitude response. That is your analog filter that you have designed. Okay, say that they're equal pass bands. Now if you actually take it over here, and I reproduce them in digital domain. Okay, these are my analog transfer function pass bands, okay, that I have got. This I try to reproduce in my digital domain. What happens? Okay, so in my digital domain, if I reproduce this part, so this will be something like this. Can you see this? Because of the non-linearity, equal pass bands in my analog filter has produced unequal bands in my digital domain. Okay, whatever was equal, because of the non-linearity, whatever so the center frequency of bandwidth and higher frequency pass band will tend to reduce. Okay, will tend to reduce. Okay, so this reduction, this effect is called as, because this reduction, because in my analog it is equal pass bands, but when I converted into digital, because of the non-linear relationship, this is not having equal pass band, rather the pass band width is gradually reducing. This effect is called as warping effect. This is called as warping effect. Okay, So what essentially warping effect is? An analog filter with linear response, an analog filter with linear response after conversion has been transformed into a digital filter with non-linear response. Okay, this effect is called as warping effect. To avoid this warping effect, we need to do something called as pre-warping. To avoid this warping effect, we have to do something called as pre-warping. So we have to pre-warp the analog frequencies. To avoid this warping. Okay, we know the relationship between omega is equal to 2 by t tan omega by 2. Okay, so what we need to do is that once our analog frequencies are given, okay, we need to pre-warp whatever the frequencies will be given digital frequencies, right? So first step is you need to pre-warp the analog frequencies, then only you have to apply it in the design. If you do this way, all the effect of warping will go away. Okay, so this procedure is called as pre-warping. Fine. So this will essentially make your bilinear transformation stable. Thank you.